In the silent mountains of ancient Japan, where mist moved like spirits between cedar trees and the wind carried whispers of forgotten warriors, there lived a young shinobi named Riku. Unlike the legendary warriors whose names echoed through villages, Riku was ordinary. His strikes were average, his speed acceptable, but his greatest weakness was his wandering mind. During training, while others moved with deadly precision, his thoughts drifted like leaves in a storm. One mistake in the path of a shinobi meant failure, and failure meant disappearance. Riku feared that no matter how hard he trained, his scattered focus would betray him. One evening, after yet another disappointing session, Riku approached his master, an aging shinobi known simply as Master Hoshin. The old warrior sat calmly beside a small lantern, its flame steady despite the wind. Riku bowed deeply and confessed his frustration. "My body trains," he said, "but my mind runs wild. I cannot hold it still." Master Hoshin studied him with quiet eyes and drew 9 lines in the dirt with a wooden stick, 4 vertical and 5 horizontal, forming a grid. "This," he said softly, "is Kujikiri, the 9 cuts, the mind lock of the shinobi."
Riku had heard rumors of Kujikiri, a mystical hand sign ritual whispered about among elite warriors. Some believed it granted supernatural powers. Others claimed it sharpened the senses beyond human limits. But Master Hoshin shook his head. "There is no magic," he said, "only mastery of attention. Kujikiri is not about summoning power, it is about removing distraction." The master explained that each of the 9 cuts represented a mental command: Rin for strength, Pyo for direction, To for harmony, Sha for healing, Kai for awareness, Jin for knowing the thoughts within, Retsu for mastery of time, Zai for control of elements within oneself, Zen for absolute presence. But the secret was not in the words, it was in the intention behind them. When performed with controlled breathing and unwavering awareness, Kujikiri forced the mind into alignment, like a sword drawn perfectly straight from its sheath. The next morning before sunrise, Riku began his practice. He stood facing the rising sun, feet rooted to the earth. He inhaled deeply, formed the first hand seal, and whispered Rin. His mind immediately rebelled. Thoughts of past failures surfaced. Doubts crept in. He faltered. Master Hoshin's voice echoed from behind, "Do not fight the thoughts, cut them." Riku visualized slicing through each distraction with invisible blades as he moved through the 9 seals. Each gesture was deliberate, each breath slow and controlled. Days turned into weeks. At first, nothing seemed different. His mind still wandered, his legs still trembled, but something subtle began to shift. During sparring, he noticed he reacted slightly faster. During meditation, his breathing became deeper. The chaos in his head felt less overwhelming. It was as if the 9 cuts were carving space inside him, clearing mental fog. One afternoon, while practicing near a waterfall, Riku experienced a breakthrough. As he formed the seals in sequence, his awareness narrowed into a single point. The roar of the water faded. The cool mist disappeared. Even the sensation of his own body grew distant. There was only breath and intention. For the first time, he felt what Master Hoshin meant by mind lock. It was not tension, it was effortless clarity. Every movement felt precise, every thought obeyed. Soon, this new focus spilled into all aspects of his training. When throwing shuriken, he no longer hesitated. When running across forest branches, his steps were exact. His senses sharpened. He could hear the faint crack of a twig before it snapped. He could sense movement behind him without turning. But the most profound change was internal. Fear lost its grip. Doubt had less space to grow. The 9 cuts had not given him power. They had removed the noise that hid it. One night, the village below the mountain was threatened by bandits. Master Hoshin sent Riku alone to observe and intervene if necessary. It was a test. As Riku approached, he felt old anxieties trying to return. His heart pounded. The stakes were real. Lives depended on him. He stepped into the shadows, formed the first seal quietly, and began the sequence. Rin, Pyo, To, Sha, Kai, Jin, Rets, Zai, Zen. With each silent word, his breathing steadied. The fear did not vanish, but it no longer controlled him. His mind locked into clarity. He moved through the darkness like flowing water.
Every decision was immediate, every action deliberate. He disarmed one bandit without unnecessary force, redirected another's attack with calculated precision, and used the environment intelligently instead of recklessly. Within minutes, the threat dissolved. The villagers never saw his face. They only knew the danger had passed. When Riku returned before dawn, Master Hoshin nodded, seeing the transformation without needing explanation. "You understand now," the master said. Riku bowed, realizing that the secret of Kujikiri was not about becoming superhuman. It was about mastering the space between stimulus and response. Where others reacted blindly, he could choose. Where others panicked, he could focus. The technique had increased his effectiveness not by 1,000% through magic, but through discipline of awareness. Years later, Riku became a master, standing beneath the same cedar trees where he once struggled with his wandering mind. When students asked about Kujikiri, he simply smiled and drew 9 lines in the dirt. "The mind is the battlefield," he would say softly. "Win there, and you win everywhere." Under his guidance, the dojo grew strong and peaceful. Master Hoshin watched with pride, knowing his student had truly understood the lesson. The mountains remained calm, the students focused, and Riku finally found the clarity he once searched for. The 9 cuts were no longer just a technique. They had become a way of life. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe my channel.